Welcome to the WHHI-TV Daily News. I'm Betsy McDaniel. As always, there's a lot to talk about in the Low Country today, so let's get started with our headlines. The Bailey's Point housing project on Hilton Head Island is back on after developers settled with the family of Josephine Wright. Before her passing, Wright was locked in a battle to protect her land and home that had been in her family for generations. Celebrities like Tyler Perry and Snoop Dogg joined her fight, and the town of Hilton Head suspended all permitting until the issue of who owned a corner of Wright's lot was settled. Her family is now installing a new modular home more toward the center of her lot on Jonesville Road, and the developers are preparing to build nearly 150 homes around that lot. Any remaining donations will now be turned into the Josephine Wright Foundation to help Gullah families keep their land. Many years ago, Gullah land made up about 14% of Hilton Head. Today it is down to just 2.5%. Voters and now 2 Lowcountry state legislatures have joined together to try to save the Russ Point boat landing at Hunting Island State Park. But they'd better hurry. The State Parks and Recreation Department could close the landing as soon as next month. Beaufort County found that the state actually owned the landing 2 years ago and turned over operation of the boat launch. But now State Senator Tom Davis and State Rep. Shannon Erickson are trying to resurrect funding to repair the erosion around roadways in the area to keep the landing open. Davis says money could be found in the large amount taken in from Hunting Island tourists. Speaking of boaters, many say the 2 happiest days of a boater's life are the day they buy their boat and the day they sell it. But what happens if you can't sell it? Well, hundreds of boats have been abandoned along our state's shorelines, and DHEC is trying out a cure for the problem with a pilot program called Vessel Turn-In. The program allows boaters to give their derelict boats to the state. Beaufort and Jasper counties are 2 of the 8 coastal counties currently in the program that would take ownership of your unwanted boat before you abandon it and get them out of the water before they become too expensive to move. The state would then try to recycle as much of the boat as possible. The program could also help the environment by getting boats out of the water before they start leaking any toxic fluids. We all know that Hilton Head is still growing, slower than a decade ago, but growing nonetheless. And a recent town-sponsored assessment gives a little peek into how the island has changed. The town found that residents on the island are getting a bit older. There are fewer Black residents, but a few more Hispanic residents. In addition to households getting older, they are also getting smaller and are less likely to include school-age children. Also, on any given day, the island entertains up to 8,500 visitors who do not live here, which equates to over $3 million a year. And it might not be quite as lavish as winning an Oscar, but you would probably much rather have these award winners around in the case of an emergency. Congratulations are in order for 3 Beaufort County EMS responders who recently won some statewide awards. Nikki Jarrett was named State Paramedic of the Year, Catlin Schroyer was named the state's EMT of the Year, and Jason Schroyer won South Carolina Advanced EMT of the Year. The awards were voted on by a panel of judges from outside South Carolina. The media sources on your screen will have more on these and other stories, and we would love for you to like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram at WHHI-TV. And if you have an idea for a news story, we'd love to hear it, so drop us a line at news@WHHITV.com. And now here's Justin Jarrett with what happened last night in the Lowco.
Hey, it's time for Last Night in the Lowco on WHHI, powered by LowcoSports.com. It was a busy night on the soccer pitch, and Team Lowco's soccer correspondent Conner Worl was in the den at Bluffton High School, where Josh Fox's lads were taking on region powerhouse James Island. It was scoreless at halftime and knotted at 1 after regulation before the Bobcats battled through overtime a man down and won a penalty shootout 4-1 to capture a huge region win and tighten the top of the table. 10 out of 10 on the celly, too. The Trojans took the girls' matchup 4-0 at James Island, while May River swept Colleton County and Lucy Beckham swept Hilton Head High in other Region 7 4A matchups. John Paul II's girls continued their dominant start with an impressive 6-0 win at Beaufort Academy, as 6 different players scored goals for the Golden Warriors, and Bridges Prep swept Whale Branch in dominant fashion. Kylie Rass pitched another gem for Beaufort's softball team, striking out 14 Battery Creek Dolphins in a 2-hitter, and Adeline Johnson had 3 hits and 2 RBIs in a 5-1 win for the Eagles. Rass joined us on last night's Lowco Sports Lowdown for a great conversation. Beaufort's baseball team also made quick work of the Dolphins, winning 16-1 in 4 innings with Dylan Rass tossing a 2-hitter. Jaden Andrews had a double, a triple, and 3 RBIs. On the golf course, May River won a 16 meet at Oyster Reef, with Beaufort's Simon McAllister capturing medalist honors, and Hilton Head's own Jonathan Grizz won the individual crown and led Alabama to the team title at the Linger Longer Invitational in North Georgia. Grizz fired a scorching 62 in the first round and cruised to a 3-shot win for his first collegiate victory, first of many. Tune in to the Lowco Media Network at 10 p.m. tonight to see who shows up to talk local sports. For Lowco Sports and WHHI, I'm Justin Jarrett. Until next time, go Lowco.
Thanks, Justin. Now let's take a look at that weather with Maria.
Thanks, Betsy. Yep, so taking a look ahead, spring is officially here, and that does mean we are going to see a few more showers in our forecast throughout the rest of this week, and we're also going to see a slight drop in temperature by the end of the weekend. So taking a look at Thursday, it's going to be partly cloudy, with Hilton Head having a high 69, a low 51, Bluffton's going to have a high 72, a low 49, and Beaufort's going to have a high 71 and a low 51. The sunrise for Thursday is going to be at 7:25 and sunset's going to be at 7:36. Taking a look at the beach tides, high tide's going to be at 7:34 a.m. and low tide's going to be at 2:45 p.m. Taking a look into the rest of the week and into the weekend, Friday we're going to see scattered showers throughout the day and going into the evening. Highs are going to be in the upper 60s, lows in the upper 50s. Then comes Saturday, we're going to see scattered showers throughout the day, but should be clearing up by the evening. Highs are going to be in the 70s, lows in the upper 50s. And then come Sunday, it's going to be sunny, but the highs are only going to get into the 60s and lows in the 50s. That's it for today. Let's head it back to the desk.
Thanks, Maria. When we come back, Robin Zimmerman chats with Heather Rath about what's going on locally, so don't go away.